Hey guys, Kier here, and today I am going to be teaching you a very fun and fairly easy card control that will allow you to leave a card seemingly in the middle of the deck, and with nothing but a snap of the fingers, the card ends up on the bottom of the deck. If you guys know me, you know that outside of performing Magic, something that I also used to be very passionate about is teaching Magic. I've been doing more tutorials on this channel, not just because you guys have asked me to, but also because I think it's fun and it kind of keeps me in touch with Magic. It's something that keeps me practicing since I don't perform anymore, and just something that I enjoy doing. Before we get started, I want to say thank you to the sponsor of today's episode, and that is the new Fulton's Arcade Playing Cards by Brad Fulton. I will be using these for today's tutorial, but as well, if you guys want to learn a little bit more about this deck, make sure you stick around to the end of the video because I will be giving you some dirty details and showing off a little bit more about these cards. All that and more coming up, but before we get into it, please do drop a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already, okay? Now that's an important one. And without further ado, let's roll that intro and get you guys on your way.
Let's go.
Okay, so the control we're going to be learning today is the spread cull. Now, there's a lot of different ways to cull a card, which essentially is to palm it from underneath the deck and move it to the top or bottom of the deck invisibly. I put invisible in air quotes because obviously there's no such thing as an invisible sleight, but this one is pretty damn convincing, I'll be honest. It's one that I use all the time because it's very good on angles. It's a very natural angle that you need to assume in order to get it. And of course, it's just satisfying to do, and when you pull it off well, it looks great. So grab your favorite deck of cards. I will be using the new Fulton's Arcade deck, and let's get into the tutorial. Okay, so the spread cull, as I said, is kind of just the act of palming a card under the deck in kind of one form or another. What you're really doing is you're taking your selected card and you're kind of forcing it under all the other cards. So let's say we're going to take the Queen of Diamonds. What we're really doing is we're just taking the Queen of Diamonds into our other hand, and once we clear the rest of the packet, we just push it all to the bottom, and it leaves kind of this patsy patsy card sticking out. So it looks like the Queen of Diamonds stays in place the whole time, but in fact, it gets controlled. So easiest way to think of it is you're taking what looks to be, you know, the top card in this packet of cards, and you're leaving it in the middle. You can even leave it sticking out just like that, while you're moving everything secretly to the bottom. So how does this work? The first and the easiest thing to do is to understand what you're doing when you're doing a cull. And basically it's two things at once. You're out jogging a patsy card while you're kind of stealing out the selection. It's two things happening at once, and your hands really have to work together at the same time to make it happen. The best way to start this is when you do your spread for the spread cull, instead of spreading like a ribbon where you're going sideways like that, like you would normally do, right? You would normally spread like that. You want to spread straight. And by straight, I mean you just want to go from one hand into the other without curving your hands, okay? So you don't want any bend. You want it to be straight. And the reason you want that is you kind of want to get two cards when they're selected to be right on top of each other for the sake of a convincer. So for example, when I'm taking a card here, let's say we want to take the 5 of Hearts. What you're doing is you want to make sure that this card, the Queen of Clubs, that's going to be our patsy, is right on top of the 5 of Hearts so that you don't see it, right? You don't see the Queen of Clubs, which is good because when you go to do your cull, you're going to replace the Queen of Clubs with the 5 of Hearts and move the 5 of Hearts to the bottom while the Queen of Clubs is sticking out secretly. Now you want to make sure you start with the cards close together too, because the further the cards are apart, the more difficult it's going to be to convince people that the card you're switching out is not actually happening. So keep it straight and close together. What you want to do is whenever the spectator tells you to stop, or just whenever you're ready to stop, make sure you have two cards. This is kind of like a double lift situation. Make sure you have two cards that could pass as one card, okay? So let's say we're going to do the 2 of Clubs. It's really the 2 of Clubs, and just underneath it is another card, right? But they don't see that. That's key. That's very key when you're showing this. So keep it short, keep them together like that, right? You're going to go, okay, here's your 2 of Clubs. And then it looks like the next card is the Queen of Spades. Not the case at all. So now what you're going to do is you have this little bit of leverage, and that's going to be where you put your thumb. Okay, so you're going to put your left thumb on top of that patsy card. That's going to allow you to keep that card in place while you secretly are doing this. So you're going to keep that, and you're going to take this card out. but it looks like the whole time you're leaving the same card out jogged, and you're not. One more time. Straight. We're gonna show our card, the 9 of diamonds this time. Place your thumb on top of your double, and with your thumb holding pressure, you're just gonna take these fingers and pull the nine of diamonds out so you can cull it to the bottom. All right, now actually culling it is the next step. So once you've got your kind of your select and out jog down, remember we've out jogged the wrong card, the cull is essentially just gonna be where you close the spread and push that card onto the bottom to complete your control. This part is also tricky because you want to kind of do it in the act of what naturally looks like spreading a deck of cards with an out jog. It should essentially look like this, right? We're gonna take that card. That's what it should look like. Okay, it should look the exact same. So we're here, we're gonna show our card, 5 of diamonds. Plant your thumb. These 2 fingers here, your middle and ring, are underneath the deck, gonna steal out your 5 of diamonds, okay? It looks like the 5 of diamonds is this card right here, out jogged, but now it's actually here under the spread. Now all you need to do is continue spreading, and then when you go to close, you're just gonna push everything back. So it looks like it stays in the middle. Pushing it also needs to be kind of precise because after you've done your out jog, which is really like, that's the main sleight, right? Making it look like it stays in the middle, but you wanna make sure that you clear all the other cards. And by clear, I mean, whatever card you're gonna cull, let's say it's the 8 of hearts, you wanna clear it by pulling it out so that way there's no cards that go above it, right? You want all the cards to be underneath that card, or I guess on top of it. Let's do it super slow. Spread. So you're gonna show the card, plant. Now here's the action, okay? The Patsy card stays there and it looks like the 8. The 8 clears all the other cards. And then while you're continuing to spread, you're just holding it there. Continuing to spread like that, right? And then you go, okay, so we're gonna leave that card in the middle, push everything together. Now it looks like you have your out jogged selected card. You can push it in, snap your fingers, and the card has already been moved to the bottom. Now what I really like about this is the angle that you get because it's a very natural selection angle. Like that, this is exactly how you would handle a deck of cards in front of a spectator. You go, okay, go ahead and just pick a card. How about that one? 2 of spades, perfect. You don't really even have to change angles. You just stay where you're at and you can't see anything. But now that 2 of spades is on the bottom again. Very convincing and something that doesn't take a lot of practice. The big thing is getting the initial switch. The switch to me is the hard part. And that's where you have the card selected, 7 of spades. Getting this part to be clean. Would you bet that this is the 7 of spades? Or is that the 7 of spades? But once you can do that initial out jog switch, everything becomes easier. So Queen of diamonds stays right there. Push it in. Boom! There she is. And that is how you do a spread cull. Well guys, thank you so much for checking out the tutorial. I really hope you enjoyed that little 101 on the spread cull. Again, this is one that I use all the time. It's one that I'm sure you guys will use all the time once you get it down pat. It's just a lot of fun, and a big shout out to the Alex Pandrea Magic course because as much as I have enjoyed doing the cull, I enjoy it even more after learning a few subtleties and tips and tricks from the course. So if you guys haven't checked out the Magic course, make sure you do. As well, if you guys are interested in picking this deck up for yourself, I'm not sure if it's still available, but if it is, check out the link in my description. I highly, highly recommend it. This deck is so much fun. And if you want to learn a little bit more about it right now, I think the best thing that we can do is just roll a little montage for you. So let's do that. Alright guys, thanks again for watching today's video. If you liked it, please do drop a like, and I hope you'll consider subscribing for more awesome content just like this. Thank you again to Brad for sponsoring today's episode, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. I know I will. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.